Alright. Alright. I am back. Alright, let me check the order. Alright. Okay, that's where it was. Okay. The breakdown. Okay. Alright. Where's my stuff at? Properties? Uh, there we go. Here we are. Alright. Alrighty. Hmm. Mm. Alright. Um, how many pages is this going to? 183. All right. I am going to try to get through as much of this as humanly possible by 8 o'clock. Hopefully, I can get through this, and then we can move on to the rest of the Google Doc. Um, a few things I did post on my YouTube channel about this, and I did post on X about this. I will not be streaming this Wednesday night or Thursday night. Well, I might be streaming Thursday night, depends on when I get back. I've got a funeral I need to attend to Thursday, and it was a sudden death of someone I know, and it's important that I be there. And yeah, so that happened. The Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know about that right off the bat so I can give you guys a heads up. And all right, let's go ahead and continue with Cinder's Google Doc. And tomorrow, oh, yes, tomorrow I got the notification on X that Cinder's actually going to be streaming tomorrow, which means I am definitely going to be most likely listening to her stream while I drive because I do want to be there for her next stream. I do want to be there when she is debuting. Well, I do want to be there when she's actually come back streaming. And I do want to congratulate her with having the courage to actually come back because I know for a fact that it is not the easiest thing to do. Anyway, all right. Now enough with me all this blabbering through my mouth hole. Let's go ahead and go on with the breakdown, shall we? All right. Not on the oh, sorry. All right. Nanolis, Shy Lily, and almost a dozen of my friends planned the original documents about me. It took them 2 days to decide to cancel me. Everything was dropped on me out of nowhere, and somehow I was expected to have the perfect response to the claims they had already determined. I was determined I was guilty of. When I first started this document, I thought of my friends all lied about me. Red and Nano to protect. Hold on. When I first started this document, I thought my friends all lied. I thought my friends all lied about me. Red and Nano to protect her and hurt me. I couldn't understand why, but as things came together, I was no longer convinced that was the case. It didn't make sense for all of my closest friends to maliciously and willingly lie to the public about me at a moment's notice, no matter what they thought I did to them. However, there's one thing I believe happened that would connect all their lies back to one place. At the start of this document, I said I was convinced there were only two people who drastically influenced how things played out before and after my cancellation. Shy Lily lied to Nanolis about her own actions towards me, telling Nano she was being manipulated when she wasn't, under the excuse of manipulation that Shy Lily gave to her. I believe Nano lied to everyone about her experience with Red, and to avoid accountability for any of her own actions with Shy Lily supporting her. They lied to my friends, and they lied to you. Oh boy, yes they did. Yes they did. And I am going, if there is any repeat information in this part of the document, I am going to be skipping over it like I did last time. If you do want to see that information, I do have 3 previous streams on this, and I'm going to be having several more. Now, let's continue. I believe my friends were manipulated by the last people they'd expect to be manipulators. I believe what my other friends did and said were because they were misinformed about what really happened and were convinced to see things the way they weren't. All of them were making or supporting accusations against me that happened over years, when the timeline for things these accusations were based on was really only 5 to 8 months long. Yep, leading up to my cancellation on 4/26/2025, they were operating under a different set of information than me, and they used what they already knew to jump to conclusions. They may have also been manipulated not to contact me or Red for our sides of the story because it contradict what was being told to them. Yep. In this section, I'll break down the documents and statements from Nanolis, Bao, Shylily, and my other friends who were involved. I use their own words and all of the evidence in the past few sections to build a timeline of events, address their claims, and draw conclusions about how and why things happened the way they did. And I've just got to say, this document and all this information, Cinder, if you do see this, honey, you've done a wonderful job and you've cleared your name. For anyone who has read this document and who is being honest and open, you have cleared your name wholeheartedly. You don't have to worry about a thing. Numerous people got your back. Of course, okay. Screenshots that are different or taken directly from a document are highlighted with orange border. Okay, well, like before, important messages. Okay, yellow. Video timestamps are linked to directly and highlighted in green. Okay, that's new. Any sections based on speculation are labeled in pink. Okay. Who was involved before anything was public? Nano was the source of all the Discord screenshots that were the starting point for all of the claims that followed. She posted the first document. And I know Cinder is giving Nano some leeway here, but that's one thing I'm going to disagree with her on. If Nano really was manipulated by Shy Lily to the degree that Cinder thinks, she would not have altered so many messages and organized things out of context so much. I don't know what happened with Nano, but things just don't add up with her. Shy Lily was the first person Nano contacted about Red's DMs. She was involved in everything from the start. Yes, she was. That bitch. I'll be glad when that bitch gets what's coming to her. If anything does happen. Red's messages to Nano about Bao were the heart of their claim. She was included as soon as she was able. After her surgery, she posted her document minutes after Nano. Numi's involvement is evidenced by Shilali's knowledge of my private DMs with her about concerts. She also gave a list of people who were involved on her stream on 4/28/2025. The three other girly pops. I don't believe they were a major part of planning anything that happened and no malicious involvement. They were only brought into this to help corroborate things the rest of them talked about. Buff Puff and three Vichibon members. Numi said that Buff and the other three Vichibon members were also included in their calls together. On Buff's stream from 7/22 to 2025, she basically said she and a lot of other people were involved before things were made public. The VOD of the stream was made public within a week or two of that happening. Because of course it was. Of course it was. Sacramore. Bao's video editor, Sack, had his document written and posted shortly after Bao's. What Red said to Nano about Bao in January was about him too. Unfortunately, that is true. Of one of these 12 people, no one contacted me before everything was made public, and only one of them reached out to me afterwards. I don't have evidence on anyone else being included on this list, although there's more people I suspect who have at least been aware of what happened beforehand, if not also involved in the planning themselves. I do not believe anyone else who was mentioned in Nano's document were involved at all in the planning of anything beforehand, including Cottontail, Silverveil, and Spite. As Nano's document states, their names were censored in it because none of them gave their consent for them to appear before it was posted. Seeing as they all made it known their names were the ones censored shortly after, they must have only been contacted very shortly before it was posted. Cotton tweeted one of Nano's screenshots with her name uncensored about 2 hours after her documents posted, and Silverveil and Spite posted their own documents with Nano screenshots about 14 to 8 hours after Nano's, respectively. Any names that are censored here were censored because the creator in question did not provide consent to have their name revealed by the time of me posting this document. Day 17, the 17-day timeline, 4/11/25 to 4/28/2025. This entire timeline of what happened, starting with Red's messages to Nano about Shilali on 4/11 and ending with Shilali's stream on 4/28. 4/11/2025. Red saw Nano working on a model for Shilali on her stream and messaged her about it. Screenshot in Nano's section. 4/12/2025, Red messaged Nano about Shilali again and talked about her behavior towards me recently. This was the last time Nano messaged either of us. Nano 4/14/2025 or 4/15/2025. Nano showed Shilali the things Red said about her. She was the first person Nano spoke to about it. Shilali told Nano Red was manipulating her, leading to Nano leaking more of their DMs. Shilali told her to contact the people affected, including Bao. Shilali said the screenshots Nano showed her were from a few days ago. When she saw them, she said this was what started it all. Speculation. Whether Nano decided to show Lily more of the messages with Red herself, or Shilali actually asked if Red ever said anything about anyone else, I can't say for certain, but can't rule out the possibility. How much of the context and content of her messages Nano showed to Shilali is also unknown. Shilali convinced Nano she was being lied to, used, and manipulated. Shilali could have also instructed Nano to end contact and cut ties with Red and I, who she warned would continue to lie, manipulate her if she didn't. I messaged Bolska since I hadn't heard from Shilali directly in weeks. He implied she'd be too busy to plan anything with me anytime soon. Screenshots in Lady's section. Yep. I messaged Nano for the last time asking her to come on my stream again. She never replied. Akira, Nano's new messenger, message read about Nano parting ways with us due to artistic burnout. 4/16/2025. Red messaged Akira again for more clarification on what was happening with Nano. Screenshots in Nano's section. 4/18/2025. Nano did not message Bao. Shy Lily did instead, telling her they needed to talk. Bao told Shy Lily she wasn't in the right headspace and to wait until after her surgery. However, it was rescheduled for Monday, 4/21/2025. They did not talk until after Bao recovered from surgery. Nano could have messaged Bao about this too, like Shy Lily suggested, but apparently didn't. Shy Lily was the one to reach out to Bao to tell her this information. Why? 4/21/2025 speculation. Sometime between these dates was when my friends first informed and got involved in what was happening. A few of them had plans to go to Ren Fair between the 18th and 20th. Red and I were originally supposed to go to, but had to cancel because of my family plans for Easter. I don't think Shy Lily would have told any of them about this. Well, on the other trip between these dates, the last message from any of my friends was from Numi in our DMs on the night of the 21st. It was uncharacteristically short. Hi, Numi. I hope you've been feeling okay lately. I've seen you tweeting about your asthma and wanted to see how you were. I hope Ren Fair was fun time for everyone too. Thanks, and slowly just getting back to breathing normally again. On her stream, 7/22/2025, Buff said that. With the fire YouTuber that happened recently, a lot of us didn't say anything until the person who was affected said something, and we all went to said person and said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And they said, "I want to do this." And we said, "Okay, girly, like you go do that, and we'll be here to support it." So, oh, that pisses me off. That way, Buff said this implies that my friends all knew about what happened before. The person who was affected, Bao, was even involved because of her surgery. A lot of us didn't say anything until the person who was affected said something. Isn't talking about saying something publicly, because right after Buff said they asked that person who they wanted to do about this, what they wanted to do about this situation, which Bao revealed was her choice. The VOD of the stream was made private within a week or two of it happening. 4/21/2025. I sent my last message to Shy Lily to talk about whatever was going on between us. She never replied. Red sent a final message to Akira about Nano. Bao underwent her surgery and started recovery. Bao finally talked with Shy Lily about what was going on, and they made a group chat to gather evidence, corroborate stories, and plan the document together. Bao's editor, Sacramore, was involved sometime after this, most likely by her. Bao's document said, "I found out about this less than 48 hours ago. At the time, it was posted on the night of 25th PTSD, and Lily said this was 5 days before her stream on the 28th. Speculation. It is possible that Bao's other editors, including my own video editor, may have known about this ahead of time too. 4:25 Post Standard Time, 4:26 Eastern Standard Time. Nano and Bao's and Sacramore's documents were posted within the same 23-minute span. Nano at 1:42 Eastern Standard Time. Screenshot in Nano's section. Bao's just 6 minutes later on 1:48 Eastern Standard Time, and Sacramore 16 minutes after that at 2:05 Eastern Standard Time. Sometime during this, both Red and I sent separate messages to Nano that were soon deleted, followed by her blocking us. Speculation. Their document were posted together in the middle of the night in my time zone, so I'd be asleep when it happened. I wouldn't have had a chance to do or say anything to anyone before their narrative about me was widespread, out of Shy Lily's fear of me manipulating my way out of it. Shortly before, Cotton, Silvervale, and Spite were contacted about their inclusion and possibly encouraged to make their own statements, evident by their names still being centered in Nano's document when it was posted, but Cotton tweeted one of Nano's uncensored screenshots just 2 hours after, and Silver and Spite's documents posted the next day, including Nano's DMs. Nano's DMs screenshots too with their own names uncensored. They weren't contacted by Nano, but I do believe Shy Lily, just like Bao was. I had a fight and falling out with Red before 3:29 Eastern Standard Time, which led to me firing him at 4:24 Eastern Standard Time. The document and statement posted by others throughout April 26th and 27th weren't pre-planned alongside Nano and Bao's and Shakmura, so I won't list them here. I posted my apology for 16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bao replied to my apology with her own post, 5:22 Eastern Standard Time. Shy Lily replied directly to my apology, 6:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bao streamed that night to talk about everything. Buff Puff had her stream. Shy Lily had her stream. Numi had her stream. Everyone else streamed their thoughts through the rest of the week. Nano's new manager speculation. The first thing that needs to be addressed is Nano's new manager, whose messages were shown at the end of Nano's section. Who is Akira and how did they get involved? It's very hard to believe they were ever actually Nano's manager, so how are they connected and how did they get in contact with Red? Akira is the game director of Colonel Hearts and the founder of the game studio Infmore Games in Argentina. Okay, he's a game developer. Why in the world would he? You know what? I'll let Cinder explain it. The 4 games developers from Argentina with love. Akira follows Nanolith, but nowhere near on their page does it say anything about Nanolith. Okay, yeah. Nano does not follow Akira, and nowhere on her page or website does it say anything about Akira being her manager or business contact either. They've never interacted on Twitter either. Very curious. Very curious. Followers you may know. Okay, yeah, there's nothing. Mio, Nano's husband, who's always acted as her manager, is presented on Nano's profile. Mio, husband, yep, right there. However, Momotex follows Akira as the screenshot above shows. Hold on, Momotex, right there. Okay. Momo is the lead artist of Akira's upcoming game, Colonel Hearts, and is also from Argentina. Okay, NPC reveal our lead artist, Momotex, is here to unveil 2 of the characters that will aid you in your journey. Alright, Momo is also close friends with Nano, who she saw in real life on 5/25/2025, 5 days after I posted my apology on 4/27/2025, a week after Nano posted her document. Okay, this is getting really interesting. I don't know if Nano knew Akira already, but Momo is the only connection I could find between them in the past. Nano talked to her friends about things Red had said to her. In November 2023, it was Nano's friends who told her that it was unfair for Nano to only work with us. This is something Nano was confused about and not something Red said to her. So it's about working with Cinder. My friends told me it's a bit unfair for me to stop other models, so I do more for Cinder, which I agree with them. In January 2025, Nano went to friends for advice about exclusivity when talking about business with Red. Okay, so asked help from my friends. They don't know it's you. Oh. In a conversation from 11/28/2024 that wasn't shown in Nano's section, Nano was shown to be leaking private artwork she was working on me for my upcoming debut. You don't do that! That is private information. That is private information. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, these... Nano, what is wrong with you? Are you leaking all over the damn place? Oh my goodness, Nano Liz. Oh my gosh. After speaking to Shy Lily about Red, could Nano have gone to her friend Momo, who contacted her with Akira to play the role as her new member to Red? Akira was someone Red and I don't know, and now we know Red's conversation with him wasn't genuine, evident by what happened after, but also the fact Nano removed evidence of her being in the chat to begin with. She then made Red the group leader before leave a Discord group. Excuse me. To leave a Discord group you own, you need to mainly choose someone to be the leader. She did not choose her manager Akira in this chat, supposedly about her commissions. She chose Red to make it to look like it was his group all along. Oh, that little, and that she was never a part of it because their actual goal was to separate us from Nano altogether. You little. So, why was this done, and why do I think this was only after Nano spoke to Shy Lily? Nano avoided ever communicating directly with either Red or I again after 4/12/2025, and I don't believe she would have gone through this effort with Akira on her own. Everything started when Shy Lily told Nano that the things Red said to her were all lies and manipulation. Wouldn't it be likely that some point Shy Lily would suggest or direct Nano to separate herself from Red and to avoid being further lied to and manipulated? Nano then needed to find someone neither Red or I to separate us since she couldn't do it herself. The same way she couldn't contact Bao herself and Shy Lily had to do it for her. Oh, so Nano is also a liar and a coward. After all those years of Cinder and Red giving you work, after all the blessings they were to you, they helped you grow your career, they helped you get better at your modeling, which I will say, Nano, you do some beautiful work. But what you did is inexcusable. I will say it again. What you did is inexcusable. You you absolutely need to atone and apologize for your behavior. And it is most likely Shy Lily caused all of this, and I'm not expecting her to apologize whatsoever because she's a bitch. The biggest one, evidently. Nano avoided ever communicating directly with either Red or I again after 4/12/2025, and I don't believe she would have gone through this effort with Akira on her own. Everything started when Shy Lily told Nano that the things Red said about her were all lies and manipulation, which it would be likely that at some point Shy Lily would suggest or direct Nano to separate herself from Red and to avoid being further lied to and manipulated. Nano then needed to find someone neither Red or I knew to separate us since she couldn't do it herself. The same way she couldn't contact Bao herself, and Charlotte had to do it herself for her. Nano message screenshots and time zones. Speculation. Okay. Before going over Nano's document, we discovered that some of Nano's screenshots are dated in two different time zones relative to Eastern Standard Time. Some 1 hour ahead and some 2 hours ahead. For her, screenshots to show this, Nano's account would have had to have physically logged in into two different time zones when taking them sometime between 4/12 and 2025 to 4/26 2025. Nano would have had no reason to have these screenshots from conversations years apart and years earlier already taken before Red spoke to her on 4/12/2025, and must have had at least some taken during the same time as her conversation with Shy Lily, just days later to show her. Oh, oh, dear Lord. This is the first screenshot shown in Nano's document about the exclusivity deal. The first message is timestamped 8:29 p.m. Yep, 8:29 p.m. Yep, says it right there. Okay, this is okay. This is Nano's message in Red's DM shown at 6:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hold on. Okay. Eastern Standard Time. Nano screenshot is 2 hours ahead. Aha. Aha. What on the yeah, that it's the same message but at different times. Yeah, they're 2 hours apart. This is one of the screenshots about Shy Lily and Nano's document. The first message shows 10:16 p.m. Okay. 10:16. Okay. 10:17. Okay. I'm looking at the date. I'm looking at times. Here's the message in Red's DMs showing 9:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nano screenshots is only 1 hour ahead. 9:16, 4/12/2025, 4/12/2025, 4/12/2025. What is with the times? That is so freaking strange. If Nano was, hold on, I need to get some drinks. Ah. If Nano was the one who took if Nana was the one who took all her own screenshots herself in the same 2-week span from 4/12/2025 to 4/26/2025, this discrepancy shouldn't exist. This shows Nana likely wasn't acting alone when taking screenshots of her own DMs that were shown in her document. She's right. Oh, this is this is good. Here is a list of the dates and topics of the screenshot that appear in Nano's document and the time difference to Eastern Standard. I've also listed which conversations were shown in full and which are missing context in her document. 1 hour ahead, Spite does not show the full conversation or everything that was said about Spite. Okay, 7/19/2023, 1 hour ahead. Silvervale does not show the full context or anything from the previous conversations about Silvervale from 5/10/2023. 11/19/2023, 2 hours ahead. Exclusivity and it's just business does not show the full conversation, never showed the pivotal conversations that happened before this on 11/17/2023. 11/25/2023, 2 hours ahead. Exclusivity and it's just business does not show the full conversation and is also missing the context from 11/17/2023. 2 hour 11/26/2023, 2 hours ahead. Exclusivity and it's just business. What? What do you mean it's two? They're a day apart. And it's just business. Nano's DMs with me. Oh, they're the DMs with her. Okay. Does show the full conversation, but missing the context of anything from 11/17/2023, and was presented before any of the DMs from 11/25/2023 with Red in Nano's document. 1 hour ahead. Bow does not show the full conversation and does not show any of the vital context from the conversation on 7/26/2024. It also doesn't show any of the following DMs on 8/6/2024 or what was the situation led up to on 9/29/2024. 2 hours ahead, the exclusivity deal does not show full conversation and what's shown in manipulation hide Nano's guilt and acceptance of the deal with Red. 2 hours ahead. Canceling the exclusivity deal. Nano DMs with me. Does not show full conversation and does not show Nano's messages to Red canceling the deal from 2/10/2025. These are real. If you want to look back on my previous ones, you will see these are all screenshots that are included in the past sections. This is dodgy, to say the least. You know what? I'm just going to say it. Shy Lily was malicious. There is no way, from everything I've seen, there is no way on God's, I'll say it again, on God's green earth, it's Shy Lily innocent. I don't know what Cinder did to piss her off that much, but the fact that she was willing to go this far with manipulating Nano and everyone else to just cancel and ruin Cinder's life like this is evil. I'm gonna say it again. What Shy Lily did here is evil. Does not show the full no it's meant okay for 12/20/25 does show the full relevant parts of the conversation. Nano said nothing incriminating, and everything Red said was claimed as false when it wasn't. The full context of what happened in Red and Nano's DMs would have shown Nano's guilt and Red's innocence. Yep, if they would have shown it in context, it would have shown that Red was innocent. Same with Cinder. Breaking down Nano's document. Nano's story in her document was the basis for any information from anyone else involved being made public, with her DMs being the source of many of the claims made. How else would anyone come out publicly and use Nano's messages with my manager as evidence unless she was a victim herself? Nano lied to my friends and lied to the public, saying that what was presented in her document was what truly happened. Let's go through Nano's document piece by piece. Nano's document in reference: terminating my work with Cinder. Hello, I'm here to okay, yeah, I've already read this. I don't feel like reading Nano's lies again. Alright, I wanted to share my experience with Cinder and Red manipulating me, using me and dragging me into drama while sabotaging, slandering, and spreading lies about people I thought were her closest friends. Not only do I no longer wish to work with Cinder, but I want to share what I've endured over the years and shed light on what she has been doing behind the scenes, behind people's backs, to protect artists and friends that may be experiencing something similar. I struggled a lot with writing this document and wasn't sure if what I felt and experience working was real or just burnt out, but I think this proves that I was lied to and manipulated over the course of years while working with Cinder. You little... Oh, I want to toss you out of building. I wanted to share my experience with Cinder and Red manipulating me. Nano wasn't manipulating. Nano wasn't manipulated to do anything. She didn't want. She didn't want. She did. Nano wasn't Okay, so this is Cinder breaking it down. Nano wasn't manipulated to do anything she didn't want to at any point in any conversation with Red or I. Treating Nano well over the years we've worked with her is not manipulation. Red gossiping with his friends, Nano about drama and his feelings towards other people without asking for anything in return is not manipulation. Red expressing his opinions about asking her to make any changes in her work is not manipulation. Both of us sympathize with her point of view on different occasions is not manipulation. Red reassuring Nano about her wanting to cancel models, no matter who it was, is not manipulation. Red telling Nano about what he had against Bao after she asked him to explain it to her is not manipulation. Red and Nano negotiating a mutually agreed deal is not manipulation. Using me. Nano was never used. She was cherished. She was a cherished work partner and a friend to both me and Red. We both did everything we could for her and praised her countless times on screen and to friends. And I am going to repeat this. Even when Nano went back on her exclusivity deal that she brought up first, even though she went back on it, Red and Cinder were still forgiven, still paid her what they owed her, and still sent her the figure. Red and Cinder actually cared for Nano. They considered her a dear friend and probably close to family. And you know what? I'm going to say this. What Nano did was also evil. What Shy Lily and Nano did to try to ruin and torch the lives of Cinder and Red this badly is evil. I don't care what anyone else says. It is evil. Using Nana was never used. She was a cherished work partner and a friend to both me and Red. We both did everything we could for her and praised her countless times on her streams and to friends and dragging me into drama. Nano never had a problem with Red gossiping to her about drama. She had no problem talking about the drama about Bao in January or about Shy Lily in April. I do love gossips. Yep, there it is. May I know what's up? Kind of like to gossip. I don't really care about Bao and Cotton. Yep, the only person Nano got tired of hearing about and wanted nothing to do with the drama related was to her was Silverbrail because of her own relationship with her. I'll slap you about Silver stuff. It's whatever, I guess. Forget about her. I swear. Redacted. Is this about Silver's model, Nano? Yeah. Okay, so that's one person that Nano did not want to gossip about, which understandably so. And Red was respected her, and they didn't gossip about them. Is this about Silver's model? Yeah. Cinder just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the Cinder just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize personally to you since I've only talked about that with Red because I just don't want to be dragged on any personal issues like that. After all, Silver is still a client, and it makes me anxious and kind of destroys my mental to do this kind of deal. I just want to let you know I still love working with you and Red, but I'll understand if things doesn't work out because of Silver. I just love my clients, that's all. While sabotaging and slandering and spreading lies about people I thought were her closest friends, the only person Red had a hand in sabotaging was Bao. When Nano offered him that she'd cancel Bao's model in exchange for paying for her own model rigging, he didn't go into conversation with Nano looking to have anything canceled with Nano. He wanted to prevent Bao from working with her. He wanted to prevent Bao working with her because of his own opinions as part of an exclusivity deal. He told Nano never mind when finding out about her model. Before Nano said it was okay, he inquired further before she offered to cancel it. Red didn't lie about anyone he talked to Nano about. Not Spite, Silver, Bao, or Shylily. Even if some things he said could have been wrong, everything he said to her was based on his own opinions, experiences, observations, and what he genuinely believed to be true. The way you talk to a friend, the same way my friends said how they thought Red and I worked together at home and about why they were led to believe happened. He did not maliciously lie about anyone to sabotage them. I want to share what I've endured over the years. You've seen what Nano had to endure over the years in her section of this document. Yep, absolutely nothing. Nano was offered plenty of work. She was blessed by Red and Cinder throughout the years. I wasn't sure if I felt that experience working was real or just burnt out. This is the only time burnout was mentioned in Nano's document, even though that was the entire reason her manager Akira told Red she wanted to stop working together about a week earlier. If Nano genuinely felt this way, she'd showed no signs of it to us either. She would have shown it to either of us, including in her last messages to us. We're thinking of doing a big update. Demon model next, new post, new outfit. Big update. Like we did in 2.0. I'll do whatever you guys want to. What outfit would it be? Oh, gosh, I need a drink. The last time she implied feeling burnt out was 7 months earlier in September 2024, when she canceled 7 models herself. Okay, yep, we already read those, and that just is for reference. The one and only time Nano specifically said she was feeling burnt out to Red was in May 2024, almost an entire year earlier. Nano never expressed to me directly that she ever felt this way. I think this proves that I was lied to and manipulated over the course of years while working with Cinder. This is an interesting thing to say after knowing the full context of Nano's DMs with Red, and as you'll see how many lies are presented in this document to manipulate the narrative to the public, and the fact my friends were lied to and manipulated to support her, based on working with Redacted, Red, Cinder's messenger, Cinder over the years that I'm sure they speak for each other, and there is no reason to believe Red was acting without Cinder's consent and knowledge. Whenever I use they or them, it refers to both of them acting as a team. Which, as we all know from the evidence given, Cinder generally did not know because Red used a whole chat room area that Cinder did not have access to. This was an assumption made to pin all the blame for Red's words and actions on me, and there was no way Nano or anyone else could definitely say that in every single instance this was the case. It is not true. The only evidence shown to argue this case was the 3 total screenshots of my DMs with Nano that were from 2 conversations almost 2 years apart from each other, where I was told more or less that what happened between her and Red beforehand. Nano's entire document purposely refers to both Red and I as one throughout it to push the assumption necessarily to the narrative as fact. English is not being my first language and language barrier. I discuss the situation and my feeling and thoughts with native language speaking who help me put them into words so everything is clear without misunderstanding due to lack of English skills. An excuse as to why this document is not written like Nano would, the evidence that she did not write or put it together herself. Oh. Below, you'll see that what's presented first in Nano's document is what happened regarding Bao, not by talking about herself or allegedly abuse she experienced or what happened first chronologically. Nano is on record saying she doesn't care about Bao, so it's puzzling why she chose to do this herself. It's fine. I'm working on the model meanwhile, so it's about the exclusivity thing. I don't think I can do this to Silver because she's still a friend to me and it hurts me to do this. I don't really care about Bao and Cotton. Oh, yeah, right there. Again, and before breaking down this section about Bao, I also need to point out the problem with the presence of her model cancellation in Nano's document. Bao's model was canceled once in August of 2024 because Nano was overwhelmed with her workload, and again in January 2025 due to her offering and agreeing to do it in her deal with Red. Nano's document misleads you into believing all of Red's messages about Bao and her model are from one time. That's right. That's right. Nano's document misled you into believing all of Red's messages in Bao and her model are from one time, never specifying a difference in the presentation of messages that were over 5 months apart, but placing the DMs from January 2025 right before August 2024. It then deceitfully manipulates the message to leave out vital context and misconstrues what actually happened in each case. I will start with slandering with creators. I will start with screenshots showing them speaking ill of others and spreading rumors while manipulating me that it's all in our all best interest. In addition to spreading ill rumors, they also complain and accuse Bao of giving their editor too much work, resulting in editor not having any time for new clients, which will be important later on. The screenshots below show them showing their affection and appropriate appreciation, immediately followed by spreading rumors and lies to make the clients appear problematic and to manipulate any future decisions regarding commissions. Spreading rumors will manipulate. Okay. In all our best intention. Nowhere in the screenshots presented does Red say to Nano that anything would be in all our best interest. Red has never said anything like this to Nano. They also complain and accuse Bao of giving their editor too much work, resulting in editor not having any time for new clients, which will be important later on. Red did not make this claim against Bao and said nothing about our video editor not having the time for new clients. Our editor wasn't seeking to take on more clients and was content editing for me and Bao only. This is what he said, which is what the screenshots below show in her document. And I don't mean taken like he doesn't work with us anymore. He does, but he has to be dedicated time for her now, and sometimes that gets in the way of our projects. And this couldn't have been confused with Bao's editor, not only because she specified. That's right. he was talking about another editor, and this could have been confused with Bao's editor, not only because she specified she was talking about our editor in what was written, but because Red's DMs specify our editor and her editor in different people in the same conversation that's shown next. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago. Her editor met us at TwitchCon. This claims was only made to push the false narrative that we were maliciously overworking Nano, which was brought up in the document. The screen this the screenshot below show them showing their affection and appreciation, immediately followed by spreading rumors and lies to make other clients appear problematic, to manipulate any future discussion regarding commissions. Here is a direct claim of manipulation by Nano with screenshots, evidence presented. However, when you have full context, you can see the affection and appreciation Red show was in response to Nano's own messages that were purposely cut from the document. Why weren't these messages shown? Well, we love working with you, Cinder. We love working with you. Cinder wouldn't be Cinder without Nano, okay? But, like, let me tell you the tea. I'd rather work with Cinder than Bao. Being Cinder's mom means a lot to me. Next are 3 screenshots from January 2025 presented in her document. As you saw in Nano's section, this was not the beginning of Red's conversation with Nano and about her exclusivity deal. But this is where it was chosen to start. The messages have been purposely manipulated to remove context, so I've added back what was missing in their messages between these images, highlighted with a white border. I've done so for the rest of her document too. I've also dated each non-sequential screenshot Nano presented in Eastern Standard Time like they were dated in red screenshots to show when each one happened. The chronologically of events was disregarded in her document to push its narrative. I've also labeled the difference in time in the screenshots compared to the Eastern Standard Time due to the time zone discrepancy I talked about. Note, the first image shown in Nano's document and Red's messages about Khan edited Red message about Khan edited out, and Nano's having no relationship with Khan would have no reason to do this herself, and this message was included in the screenshot in Bao's document. Nano said, I don't really care about Bao and Khan. Priority G sometimes over Cinder, and I can't really confront hold on. Well, was Silver given... Okay, this is Red's Cotton. Okay, I'll read that. Screenshots from 1:15:25. Okay, shown as 2 hours ahead of Eastern time to time. Oh, yeah, I have Bao's on my list. Well, then I brought up the conversation too late. It's okay, Nano. You don't need to make any changes. Are you sure? I'm not really down on working with people who Cinder don't want to. Yeah, but wouldn't this be the second time you're canceling on her? Plus, none of this can leave our chat. Right there, Red says you don't need to make any changes. And then, of course, Nano says, are you sure? And then Red says, yeah, but wouldn't be this the second time you're canceling on her? Of course, I wanted to understand it better, especially if I cancel her for this. Oh, the little! Well, she's given a lot of bias and priority at GS, sometimes over Cinder, and we can't really confront them about it. And plus, she's gone 3D lately. Bao has been getting on our that what that was the what nerves her while she hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago and is constantly picking up artists that we want to work with. We've gotten to know and be better her. Gotten to know her better, being friends with her, but she really rubs us the wrong way. I think she does. We want to try and safeguard our most important artist from her since she's already taken our editor. Oh my gosh, this is so out of context, and don't mean taken like she doesn't work. What? Special. Oh, yeah, I have Bao on my list. Well, I brought this conversation up too late. It's okay now. You don't need to make any changes. Are you sure? I'm not really down. Yeah, wouldn't this be the second time you cancel? Oh, she took Red's message and put it. And she Oh my gosh. Again, this is all secret talk. La 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 la. I'd rather work with Cinder than Bao. DW being Cinder's mom means a lot to me. Well, we love working with you. Cinder wouldn't be Cinder without Nano, okay? But like, let me tell you the tea about MV thing. Bao had an original song last. None of this was talked with Nano ever. There's some context missing since we know how Bao's behind the scenes, but basically we don't have an MV editor now for our next Bosch Rest project. What? 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 None of this makes what? Bao had to get through hoops to get something planned. We managed to have him squeeze in the Bosch Rest MV because his work with Bao, he says he loved working on it and is super excited to work on the next MV project. Bosch Rush song blows up and he's credited as the editor. I asked him when he's free to do. All of a sudden, he changes his mind and only working with Bao going forward. No explanation. I could be wrong, but I don't remember. He might have, but this is really out of context. Oh shit! Yeah, that okay. That's super weird. After I finish up two more comms for Pete's, I'll be shutting down my comms forever and ending anonymously in a house for about. Okay. Oh, it's literally it. This literally reads like a hostage note. I asked to be anonymous since I. No one does this. No one decides to do this on their own. This was 2 weeks after Bosch Rush came out. Yeah, it's pretty weird. And now she's been barking up the tree of one of our 2D animators. So like, and you and Nano. So like, and you and Nano. That is just worded terribly. And that does not seem like something, from everything I've read, that does not seem like something Red would say. Yeah, looking for me sounds sus for sure. It's so annoying. I don't know, man. Oh, wait a minute. That is, oh my gosh. She has a way of guilt tripping people to get. That is not in the same sentences. We can do a deal, huh? I'll cancel my model with Bao like forever. Yep. This is 8:45, 8:54, 8:50. What is presented next is a screenshot from over 5 months prior in August 2024 when Bao's model was canceled the first time. Okay. Okay. Red asked me to cancel on top of their closest friends Bao by asking me to cancel my work mid-progress, manipulating me into thinking it is okay since since she has so many connections and she'll be fine anyway. So I wouldn't feel guilty about it to worry too much. It was upsetting to me that Red contacted me specifically to check on me canceling the model I had planned with Bao, which of course that is all horseshit. Dear Lord, Nano. Red asked me to cancel on one of their close friends, Bao, by asking me to cancel my work amid progress. Nano document never shows where Red asked Nano to cancel Bao's model because it didn't happen. Bao's model was canceled, but he did not ask her to do it. Not in August 2024 or in January 2025. In the instance last year shown above in Nano's document, she was the one to bring up the consider canceling Bao's model. All Red did was reassure her. All Red did was reassure her in 2024 that it was okay to do so since that is what she implied she wanted and ended up going through with it herself. Do you think Bao would kill me if I cancel with her? Plus, a week before it was canceled, Nano told Red that Bao's model hadn't even been started. How could it have been canceled mid-progress? Okay. Even though Nano's document only presents Bao's model being canceled, once the evidence shown above was from August 24, it is let's assume that Bao's model was canceled mid-progress in January 2024. Well, in January, Nano told Red Bao's model was on her list, as in on her commission list, and not mid progress. And I do not believe Nano would cancel a project if she had any significant amount of work invested into it already. Red did not ask her to cancel Bao's model in January. Nano offered and agreed to do it. Their deal to do it in their deal, but that wasn't shown or mentioned in Nano's document at all. The document could only show Bao's model being canceled in August because it couldn't show anything about it in January. About it in January without implicating Nano herself. The narrative that Nano was a victim would fall apart because she gladly and willingly offered and agreed to a deal where she benefited at Bao's expense. In addition, it was easy for her to offer to cancel them all again because of the fact it was not mid progress. Okay, yeah, everything, all of this is just going over again. It was upsetting to me that Red contacted me specifically to check on me canceling a model and help with Bao. Of course, we already know this is a lie. Her document also didn't show where Red supposedly contacted Nano specifically to check on her canceling a model she had planned with Bao because it doesn't exist. He messaged her to see if she decided to cancel any other projects she expressed interest in canceling that they previously discussed, to which she replied not yet. I didn't cancel anything yet. Yep, right there. And I can imagine how upsetting this must have all been for her, considering she was the only one who brought up canceling Bao's model in the first place in August, even telling her that she didn't think she could finish her model in January and was the one who offered to cancel Bao's model in exchange for paying for her own model's rigging. Do you think Bao would kill me if I cancel with her? I'd rather work with Cinder than Bao. Okay, yeah, this is all going over again. Exclusively and blacklisting other creators, which we all know now that never happened. In the messages below, wanting to exclusive contract, but they didn't want to pay for exclusivity, but rather when a creator from their blacklist comes asking for commission, they would guarantee me model for work for Cinder only if anyone asked me for commissions. They commissioned me instead to compensate for not working with the others. This felt very strange given that one of the accusations they made was overworking their editor, yet their solution to me working with other creators was for them to essentially overwork me to keep me from working on other projects. Oh gosh, of course we also know that is a lie. They mentioned wanting an exclusivity contract. Now, no, you brought that up first, but they didn't want to pay for exclusivity. Neither Red or I had a problem with paying Nano for model exclusivity, which was shown with our video editor Artist 1 and Artist 2, who will be shown in Silver section. Yeah, there are screenshots to prove that Red offered if she wanted to do the exclusivity that they'd be willing to pay for it. To our video editor. So we lost. Now we need shorts. Okay, that's going over. To Artist 1. Okay, our thoughts on the thing. Artist 2. Okay, yeah, I already went all over this. Nano said she'd want a monthly fee, and Red explained to her what we were looking for, which led to him talking about the three people he didn't want. He didn't want her to work with. Okay, so asked help from my friends. They don't know if it's you. They don't know it's you. So a monthly fee circulating my monthly earnings, and how long would it be if this counts for models I already worked on? Well, I think the main things we were looking for are for you not to take on brand new models and clients not to make any new model outfits and with Silvervale again, which of course we all know was to keep Cinder from constantly being labeled as copying Silvervale. So there were logical reasons Afterwards, Nano offered to cancel Bell's model in exchange for paying for her model rigging, and that exclusivity deal about new babies would be separate from the deal they eventually came to. About new babies, that would be another deal. They made a mutual agreement about general model exclusivity and payment being involved. Why wasn't this shown in Nano's document? Then we have a deal? Okay, just to make sure. No work at all with Bow Cotton Silver for all. Continue giving you model work at various art comms. We pay you for rigging and you don't need to pay us back. You're sent a free demon figure. Yes, yes. All right. This is, of course, them paying her, and this is Nano accepting. But rather, when a creator from their blacklist comes asking for commissions, but of course we don't know there's a blacklist. Guarantee me I'll work for Cinder only, and if anyone asks me for commissions, they commission me instead of compensate for not working with other creators. This felt very strange. Red told Nano that if Silvervale asked her for art, we'd replace that work with our own art project. He did not specify model work or say anything about Cinder only. It must not have felt very strange to Nano at the time because she said herself it do be fair, then accept the deal willingly, doing this to Silvervale on her own gain. Is there any way to add a little bit more since Silver still asks for art every now and then? We could do it like when Silver asks for art, you tell her no and then tell us to buy art pieces, like so you still get a job from it. It do be fair, but okay, can I ask for Demon Cinder figure? I will ask about it right now if you want one. Yay, deal. This was only in regards to Silver, like Red says directly above, and never once did he suggest this. Apply to anyone else who'd he'd ask for her commissions like Nano's document just claimed. You still be able to work on models' outfits with all the other existing babies, and your artwork comes wouldn't be affected. Excuse me. One of the accusations they made was overworking the editor. As you saw, this was never an accusation Red made with Bao, and this was the closest thing he said earlier in the document, and said this is baseless claim and was overworking our editor would be important later on so it could support other baseless claims presented here. And I don't mean taken like he doesn't work with us anymore. He does, but he has to dedicate time for her now, and sometimes that gets in the way of our projects. Yet their solution to me working with other creators was for them to essentially overwork me to keep me from working on other projects, which we've seen plenty of evidence is not the case. This is everything we commissioned Nano for in the past year. Nano willingly and excitedly accepted and made time for everything listed here. And besides the increase in gamer subs work, our project cadence with her has always been consistent. We always had Nano make my model and outfits with a new string of new starting screen for each of my debuts. We went to her for any major artwork for Gamer Subs project because of how important she was to my brand image and how important they were to her, with the exception of my V card artwork, specifically because they would have overloaded her schedule. She could have always turned us down if she wanted to, and if she couldn't take our work at the time, she would have either found another artist or pushed our plans back. We would have either found another artist or pushed our plans back like we always have. All right. All right. The arguments that we're overworking her are to purposely keep her from other projects is objectively false. The only project she was kept from was when she offered to cancel Bao's model and made a deal with Red in January. And any potential Silvervale project she would have been kept from, she never was because she went back on her agreement a week after her model rigging was paid for, and as soon as Silver asked her artwork, Silver didn't lose out on working with Nano. The last time she implied feeling overworked was 7 months earlier in December 2024 when she canceled 7 models herself and had no problem doing so when she wanted to lighten her workload. She could have done the same to us but never did. She just wanted to do Cinder stuff. Nano's okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. What time is it? 7:31. Hold on. Okay. Delete that. Okay. Mm. All right. Nano's document goes from they didn't want to pay exclusivity, which was untrue. Nano said new models exclusivity would be a different deal than what her Red eventually agreed on, and the payment wasn't included in the deal they made. Two, but rather when a creator from a blacklist comes asking for commissions, they would guarantee me model work for Cinder only. By terms of the agreement, she agreed to it. She turned down a commission for Silverville. We'd replace any income with a project of her own that she'd showcase. She'd otherwise lose by doing so. To Yet their solution to me working with other creators was for them to essentially overwork me to keep me from working on other projects. The solution was the deal Red the solution was the deal Red and Nano agreed to, but wasn't shown in her document. How could we have been overworking Nano by replacing Silver Rose projects? She would have otherwise accepted anyway. Does that mean when Silver asked her for artwork and Nano walked back on the deal, Silver was then overworking her, or only if she turned Silver down and we gave her a replacement project? Then that would be overworking her. This conclusion doesn't make sense and a blatant lie about what happened strung together to make it sound like we were abusing Nano when we weren't. The message below shows the primary concern is the more non-cinder models I make, the less valuable my existing models become. It's hard to say how much this messed with my mind as an artist that would be working with other people and somehow making my existing models less special. Following screenshots is of them setting up the blacklist saying I'm not allowed to work with any new clients or create or any outfits for VTuber 1, specifically justifying those things by saying with each model, my art becomes less unique and special, and therefore Cinder somehow will become less special. Screenshot below. The idea that my work as an artist and designer is devalued by working with other people is insane and hurtful. After realizing what taking a deal with them would really mean for both my workload and my mental health, I backed out. Oh dear Lord. Their primary concern is that more non-cinder models I make is less valuable. My existing models become that by working with other people somehow making my existence less special. I'm just going to quote a part of what Red said in Nano's section about this. His full reasoning can be found there. To Red, it was a matter of supply and demand. Just like a rare trading card, the more models Nano made, the more often she would. The less valuable they become for people who have them. Nano's models are full of incredible quality, extremely unique and highly sought after, but they'd each individually be less special or valuable. If there were 100 of them, rather than only 10, from a VTuber perspective, your visual identity is extremely important. Your design, your model, and its art style are a huge part of what makes them who they are and how they represent and recognize. The fewer VTubers with the model art style, the more unique it is to have. They stand out more, and it becomes a more personal, defining feature of the VTuber presenting the artist we all know of as at least one VTuber has only model from a certain artist or one of a handful of models from them. The more models the artist makes, and the easier it is to get one, will inherently lessen the perceived value of VTubers' visual identities who have those models. Which that's a very understanding reason. Following screenshots is one of them setting up the blacklist saying I am not allowed to work with any new clients or create any new outfits for Silvervale specifically, and justifying those things by saying that with each model my art becomes less unique and special, therefore Cinder somehow will become less special. The following screenshot is of Red stating the terms to start negotiating an exclusivity deal, specifying that her existing model clients and her art commissions would be unaffected. How Red justified how Red justified the terms started with doesn't matter. Nano didn't have to agree with him. They never spoke about his thought process here and still reached an agreement at the end of their conversation. Well, I think the main things, okay, already read it. The idea that my work as an artist and designer is devalued by working with other people is insane and hurtful. Excuse me. Red's model ideology should have never been shared with Nano unless he actually explained it to her what he was talking about. He never forced Nano to agree with him, and both of us could see and understand both sides of the argument, which is why it wasn't brought up since 2023 until he went to Nano about exclusivity. Nano didn't push back or question it when Red said it. It was still willing. Still willing to negotiate an exclusivity deal that would also prevent her from working with other people. After realizing what taking deal with them would really mean for both my workload and my mental health, I backed out. This the way this was written makes it seem like Nano never agreed to a deal with Red when she actually did, but it's purposely never shown in her document. Nano said the deal was fair and gladly accepted it, but specifically cut out the screenshots from her document. Red asked her to confirm the details of their agreement, and she did. She only backed out a month later after she had already gotten what she wanted and only got what she wanted, and because Silver approached her for commission, she couldn't turn her down. Her messages canceling the deal to Red were again never shown. Her workload wasn't and wouldn't have been affected at all after then having her less work after canceling Bao's model, which was presented as only happening once in her document. Okay, yep, they're going over this stuff again. So it's about the exclusivity thing. I don't think I can do this to Silver because she's still a friend to me, and it hurts on me to do this. I don't really care about Bao and Cotton, so I was wondering if I could pay back the figure and the rigging with our current. I'll understand it if you think that's unfair from my side. Honestly, I thought I had the guts. Screenshots from 1/15/2025, 4:48 p.m., 6:12 p.m. Eastern, shown as 2 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. That would just unsustainable. What would you need to make that sustainable for you? Maybe you can share one of your ideas, and I can check that, so I can make some ideas for this. I guess I was driving. What are you thinking? Then the screenshots jump to the end of the conversation an hour later, but cut off right before Nano calls the deal fair and accepts to make the agreement she never agreed to deal with Red. Do a little bit more sense. It do be fair, but okay, but I can. Okay. Oh gosh. I've only got 30 for the. Oh gosh. Alright, let's continue. Another example of speaking ill of other creators right after they saw was working with Shy Lily, trying to once again make the idea of working with other clients seem like I'm setting myself up with problematic people who will do me no good in the long run to get me to reconsider working with them. They also continuously kept asking me about other clients' plans, which for them made the antenna go up, and immediately went into slandering Lily. They constantly try to reassure me that despite their best efforts, they just happen to keep trying. They keep trying to bring up drama and a reason for me to go exclusive, and that working only with Cinder is them trying to look out for me. We all know that's a lie. Another example is speaking ill of creators. Right after they saw I was working with Charlie, tried to once again to make the idea of working with other clients seem like I was setting myself up with problems. That is not at all what happened or was implied to Nano by Red in their conversation. At no point did he say anything about reconsidering work with Shilady or to cancel her plans. Red told Nano what I've been experiencing with Shilady because he thought that her work with Nano on a model could be correlated, and he's only gossiping with her as a friend. Yeah, Red never suggested that Shilady's model be canceled. He never did. They also continually kept asking me about my other client's plans, which had been done for well over 2 years between Red and Nano, with her willingly sharing them, even about Shy Lily, is which is what this is reference to. For Nano to suddenly imply this was a problem to her is a contradictory to years of her own behavior. Yep, I've read everything. And immediately went into slandering Lily. Red did not slander Lily. The things Red told Nano were true to what I was actually experiencing with her. Excuse me. Kept trying to bring up drama and reasons for me to go exclusive, and that working with only with Cinder is them trying to look out for me. The deal Red and Nano had was made 3 months earlier and ended 2 months before this conversation. It only involved three people: Red. Nano and Red never talked about exclusivity beyond what happened there, and Nano never said it was off the table. Red wouldn't have had to convince her to go exclusive, somehow using drama to do that. It was only a matter of making another deal, like Nano said. She was the first one to bring up the possibility of exclusivity. And there's the date of this. In their conversation about Shiloh, there was nothing about exclusivity, working only with me. That this drama was any kind of reason for her to do so, or Red ever saying he was looking out for her. This claim misleads you again to believe that Nano never agreed to a deal with Red to begin with, when she actually did. Yes, she did. These screenshots were from April 2025. Okay, I've already read these. These were in. If you want to see these are in Shy Lily's section that I had read before. Although this one. Okay, it's continuing. The idea that they need to stay informed and gauge competition is extremely upsetting and toxic to me. The competition they're referring to are people I thought they considered friends, who always helped, support, and platform Cinder. When I pushed back, the immediate response was blaming the other creators and implying that they initiated by trying to work with me and somehow justified their actions. They implied Lily ignored Cinder when she spent over a minute thanking the raid, which you can see in this clip. Okay, yeah, that Cinder does address, because Cinder did not know. The idea that they need to stay informed and gauge the competition is extremely upsetting and toxic to me. Sharing her plans has never bothered Nano in the years of working with Red. There were so many screenshots I've read for that to be the case. And for her to flip her opinion of this out of nowhere is unbelievable. Besides willingly sharing what she was doing with Shy Lady 2 weeks before I was canceled, she even shared her project plans with Silver after canceling her deal with Red because of it. Okay, yep. And Red never used the phrase gauge competition like it's quoted in Nano's document. These are the closest things he said. He's like, we're going to have to compete with Lily if she's ghosting Cinder and wants the same model mama. Gotta stay competitive even when we shouldn't have to. The competition they're referring to are people I thought they considered friends, who always helped support and platform Cinder. The competition referred to in this message shown was one person, not plural. Red said he thought we'd have to start considering Shy Lady competition with how she was treating me at the time of this conversation. I did not start to view her in this way and only wanted to fix what was going on, evident in my message to her on 4/21/2025. Hey Lily, is everything okay? I know I've been told you aren't best with messages, and I get we're both super busy with things at the time, but I kind of feel like I've upset you in some way and wanted to ask you directly. Yeah, this is Cinder trying to go, of course, this is Cinder trying to go to Lily to figure out what's going on. When I pushed back, and immediately response was blaming the other creators, implying blah 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 blah. No, Shy Lily working with Nano was not the catalyst for Red's. No, Shy Lily working with Nano was not the catalyst for Red thinking this way, but it was the reason he talked to Nano about her again. This conversation about Shy Lily is about Shy Lily, not plural. creators. Red said to Nano that it felt like we'd have to compete with Shy Lily and start considering her as a competition because of her unwarranted actions and change in attitude towards me. Excuse me. She was not treating me like a friend, and working with Nano on a new model was just another thing on top of what was already experiencing that Red thought was related. And that somehow justified their actions. What actions? What actions did Red take against Shiley in this message? To Nano, besides asking Nano questions and daring to tell her what Shy Lily was doing towards me. They implied Lily ignored Cinder when she spent over a minute thanking her. Oh, excuse me. Red said Lily wouldn't acknowledge me by name, not ignore my raids. Red clearly says in his message to Nano that I raided Shy Lily a couple times, but Nano's document only addresses one of them. Lately dipping out of collabs, and we're both a part of last minute, and now ghosting her messages. Cinder raided her a couple times in the past week, and Lily won't acknowledge Cinder by name. Nano include the extra timestamp link to one of two times I raided Shy Lily, and Red told her about in Shily's defense. Here's the link that raided from 620. Shalili greeted the raiders and didn't say hi to me or thank me for the raid. I didn't see it when it happened, but if you were to watch for another 5 minutes after she basically moved on with her stream, you'd see she then did quickly thank me for the raid. If she was able to greet my raiders when the raid first happened, then why couldn't she have also said hi and thanked me then? I wasn't upset about this since it was just one raid. However, what was linked in Nano's document was the second, more recent raid. Red told Nano about from 4/11/2025, a day before he spoke to her about Shy Lily was acting. Shy Lily didn't say hi or thank me for the raid like you'd expect your friend to, or do any streamer to do. She said hi to my raiders, but didn't. Oh, hello, anime fan 4284. Thank you. Um, I thank you. Let me hold on. Okay, I can't give you. I'm trying to give you a heart, but I guess not. Thank you. Shelly didn't say hi or thank me for the raid like you'd expect your friend to or streamer to do. She said hi to my raiders, but didn't thank me either. She goes on to read one of my chat messages, but this was the second time Shelly had an off-putting reaction to me, sending my community to her in the past couple weeks. Coupled with removing herself from collabs as what I was part of and ghosting my messages. The same day as this raid, Red saw Nana working on a new model for Shy Lily for the first time. He thought it could be connected to how she was acting towards me. In the past, Silvervale, who Red and I knew had a problem with me, purposely refused to say my name when I raided her, continually ghosting my messages, and got a model from Nano at a specific time. I can't speak. Suspicious time, among other things, which will all be shown in her section. The specific experiences with someone else who we knew didn't like me further led both Red and I to believe that Shy Lily had something wrong with me for some reason. Cinder rated Silver multiple times. She only had one. She the only one that Silver won't say her name. I will talk about my raids to Shy Lily again when I go over things she said herself. So from shown as 1 hour ahead of Eastern Standard Time. Oh, gosh, these are all the timestamps are all weird again. All right. Below, I wanted to push back and make clear I was uncomfortable on being dragged into drama. You never push back on anything, Nano, and I've seen all of it. Don't even. And they responded by dragging up more drama and baseless claims, all while they were trying to guilt trip me. It is ironic and crazy to me that I mentioned not wanting to be dragged into personal issues, only for them to, on multiple times occasions, mention other people's alleged drama. Oh gosh, that hurts to read. It hurts my brain. The drama Nano talking about in the next screenshot is specifically in regards to Silvervale after she canceled the exclusivity deal. The only time Nano had ever said she didn't want to be involved in drama was around Silvervale. She never had a problem with Red gossiping to her about drama and had no problem talking about the drama about Bao in January or about Shy Lily in April. Yep. She did not. Yeah, it was shown in earlier in this section that Nano did consider Silver a close friend, and she didn't want to gossip about Silver. So Red acknowledged, said, "Okay, we won't do that." The basis claims being referred to here is was me telling Nano people were still comparing us to this day, which was true, and had affected me for years. Which that is very understandable when you're constantly being compared to another VTuber. It I it it's very tiresome. I do agree. I get it, Nano, and was unfair to push this on you, but it's just really confusing going back and forth about it. I get compared to her a lot, even still today, and it's like I'm always living in someone's shadow, which is one reason why Red asked about not making any more models for her. I don't really see the point of keeping thinking about being compared about Silver. You're so much bigger already. You've done so much more. It's not me, but other people's opinions of us. And I'm just trying not to get involved in any drama that other people want to talk about or comparing us. I agree that I was guilt tripping Nano with this message. I was upset that she went back on this deal. Of course, Cinder would be upset. I would too. Nano agreed to something, and she broke it a week later. If that would happen to me with an artist that I gave them money for, I would tell them, I'm sorry, I can't trust you anymore. I'm gonna go ahead, whatever plans I had with you, I'm gonna finish up a little things here and there, but then we're done. I would have cut Nano off then and there. I agree that I was guilt tripping Nana with this message. I was upset that she went back on this deal because it was a last resort that could have ended one of the biggest direct compromises. It could have ended one of the biggest direct comparisons people drew about me and Silver when she eventually got a new model from someone else. The outcome of this conversation and Nano's decision didn't change because of it, and we reached a mutual understanding. And when you said I understand if things and when you said I understand if things don't work out, it makes me feel like you're okay with not working with me anymore, which hurts so much after all the time. I really appreciate you, Nano, and it's your decision with you, and it's your ultimate decision who you ultimately work with. But this is not how I've been feeling. The screenshots below were 2 months before the conversation with Red with her about Shy Lily in February 2025 when she told me about her canceling agreement with Red. Cinder just wanted to say Cinder just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize personally to you. Okay, already read all this. This is Nano, and plus this is part of earlier what we just read. Is just leading up to the whole thing. They can suck on mine. Okay, yeah, already read all this. This is all of this is included in the Nano section, which was over 200 pages long. Dear Lord, almost 300. Her messages canceling the deal with Red the day before she messaged me about it were never shown in her document. No, it didn't, because it would. Oh gosh. Red, hey, now I'm with. Okay, yeah, already read this numerous times, so it's about to. Okay, yeah, that's part of it. Justifying their behavior by stating they are simply looking out for me when none of this has anything to do with me to begin with, and manipulating me into being grateful for earning well thanks to them despite the loss of work from long-time returning clients and new clients. You're the one who agreed to the exclusivity deal in the first place, Nano. You're the one who brought it up first. Oh my gosh, justifying their behavior by stating that they are simply looking out for me. Once again, where is the message where either of us state that we are simply looking out for Nano? It's not there. I justified my behavior with how I felt towards Silvervale because of the actions of her and her community towards me. When Nano came to me about how she felt she didn't want to be involved in drama about Silver, I was okay with it, and I didn't hold it against her. She didn't need to agree to the terms of the exclusivity deal if she didn't agree with Silvervale being included, but she did, and manipulating me into being grateful for earning well thanks to despite the loss of work from long-term return clients and new clients. Excuse me. Nana was not manipulated to say what she said to me. There was no loss of work for Nana with Silvervale or any other clients due to mine and Red's actions. The reason why she ultimately went back on the deal she agreed to was because Silver approached her about a commission and Nana couldn't turn it down concerning my work and models as a team. Another example of going after other clients of mine before claiming that having more clients alongside them makes my work less special. Reoccurrence of just business manipulating me into believing the work with her special multiple reasons and that I risk losing that special something as a client. If I prefer to work with others, no acknowledgement of my reasoning and need to work with other clients due to the nature of my work, solely focused on their issue. Dear Lord, woman! You can't stop lying. Another example of going after other clients of mine from before, claiming to have more clients alongside them makes my work less special with the resources of it is just business. Neither one of us have gone after other clients of hers, unless you count Red and Nano's negotiations about exclusivity. Again, I'm not even going to blame Red for that. It makes sense for an exclusivity. They would have an artist, but at the same time, Nano was the one who brought this up first. Here is what Red said about Nano work being less special from November 2023, which was referred to in the screenshots in my DMs shown in Nano's document below. This is what he said, and there was no conversation further about it. It was the one and only time he brought up the value of Nano's model after mentioning it once negotiating their exclusive deal in January 2025. Not to discredit your work because of everything you work on is top of line incredible, but when everyone okay, I've already read this before and already explained it earlier. No reason to go over it again. As explained before, the dishonest framing of it is just business by Nano's document was intentional. The conversation with the use of it is just business was from November 2023. 2 years ago. Wow, dear Lord, woman. Nano clearly understood what we meant by it back then, and for it to never have come up again until after her document was written, manipulating me into believing that work with her is special for multiple reasons and that I risk losing that special something as a client if I prefer to work with others. I agree to me saying, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I agree that me saying, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me was guilt tripping her. I regret how I phrased this, but I already accepted her decision by my use of it's just business, like Red had said to her the day before. Neither me or Red tried to change Nano's opinion of her decision, and she was not manipulated to change her position on what she wanted. We both agreed with her and accepted it. I thought that I wouldn't be a Nano model only VTuber anymore because of her not having a lot of time for my projects to keep up with my model cadence. I thought I'd have to find another model artist, which is why I reminisced about my first model with her. I told her it felt special to only have her my model for art for my outfits, and to let me know if she wouldn't have time for me to use only her artwork for my models, not to be the one single VTuber with her model art. I can understand what it means. I can understand what it means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. Of course, we love working with you and want to keep working together, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason for you to help grow and not because you don't like me. Being one of the very first model babies was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help with L2D cutting to improve your skills, and I think that's a big part of why everyone loved the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them. I can have Red send you a list of our plans for the future and estimate due dates, so just let us know what actually went to work with when you have time to look for someone else if you don't have time for my projects or don't want to do them. It feels special to only have your model art for all my outfits, but just let me know if you don't have time for me to be exclusive to Nano Art Lead by B anymore. Cinder is clearly okay. To be fair, Cinder is being a bit guilt trippy here, but I'm not gonna blame her. How can I? Cinder all was constantly using Nano's artwork, and honestly, I'd feel the same way if I constantly had an artist doing my stuff, and then suddenly they were having so much work that they weren't able to do all my stuff, and then I would have to go out and look for someone else. It'd be weird and off-putting if I'm going to be honest. No acknowledgement of my reasoning and need of working with other clients due to the nature of my work solely focused on the issues. Here's what was said to Nano in both mine and Red's DMs with her during the situation. All of these messages are from the same conversation and appeared in the screenshots from Nano's document below. However, they separated among three topics. The document covers Red and I, understanding Nano's position, and agreed with her. We didn't force her into anything or force her into thinking a certain way to her own detriment. So it's about working with Cinder. My friends told me it's a bit unfair to stop models to do more. Okay, so yeah, I already read all this before. Let me go down. If you guys want to if you guys want to pause this later on, go ahead and pause it. We never want to make you feel like you're making you or forcing you to work on or not working on something, especially if it's something you want to or don't want to do, or conversations the other day wasn't meant to. Again, sorry, we didn't. Sorry that it sounded like I was telling you to only do Cinder work. Okay, so they're apologizing. It's not personal reasons. I would never assume that you do that this to you or anyone, but yeah, it's important for me to do my job, reach far, and like I okay, I already read this. This was during the whole nano document, nano portion. I would also like to note again, this is a screenshot. This I would also like to note again, this screenshot is one of my occasions that indicated Red speaks on Cinder's behalf. I was originally concerned with everything going through Red that it may not have been 100% Cinder's feelings or wants. I messaged her about it to make sure that he spoke on her behalf and confirmed with both of them this was the case. Yes, Red spoke for me all the time to lots of different people because that's been his job as my manager and I trusted him. But Red also spoke for himself and for the brand. No, we didn't always agree on our feelings or wants. There have been many times he's had to walk things back because I disagreed with how or we've had to compromise on discussions. To assume that in every single instance for forever that we were 100% in agreement on things is crazy. There were a total of 2 times Nano had ever messaged me about her conversation with Red. The situation from 2023 and when she canceled the exclusivity deal in 2025. Like I pointed out when talking about it is just business in Nano's section, Nano's document presents my conversation with Nano from this situation before any of the context of Ren's conversation with her. That happened a day earlier, deceptively making the context of my use of the phrase unless you were paying attention to the dates of the messages in Nano's document, you would never know the timeline of events. That is true. 2 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. Wait a minute. 303. Whoa, 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 whoa. 2020. Yeah, that's 2 hours ahead. Okay. Okay. 621. 7. Okay. Yeah, that Red tries to make it look like they never meant for it to appear like they wanted me to be exclusive, but framing it as something I wanted while immediately doubling down on the fact that me working with more people makes my work less special and no longer unique, as if every design is just a cinder clone. Oh, for gosh, she keeps on lying. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. In the full context of the conversation from the screenshots below, Red never said anything about Nano being exclusive to us or ever told her to only work on Cinder related things. He never said every design was a Cinder clone because his reasoning wasn't about other models being Cinder clones. The message in the screenshots happened in November of 2023, over a year before the exclusivity deal, but Nano's document doesn't point that out. Here is everything Red said to Nano, took as him asking her to work with anyone but me. He was confused in his message because he never asked her to do this or was somehow making her to do this. Not to discredit any of your work because everything you work is the top of the line incredible, but when everyone's a nano baby, it feels like less special to be one, if that makes sense. 2-point outfit for real. Because you make a lot of money, you gotta eat. LOL, but sucks. It's not as special. Okay, it just sucks. Everyone wants a nano baby. It means it's good. For real. Okay, of course, it's taken out of context. Red's full thought process behind Nano's work being less special and no longer unique was explained in her section. Yes, it was, but he didn't explain his point of view to her. That was not a black and white issue, and Red and I could understand both sides of it, ultimately sympathizing and agreeing with Nano's perspective. Screenshots shown as 2 hours ahead of Eastern Standard. Dear Lord. Okay, get your feel free artist. Okay, I've already read all this. Sorry for the stress, Nano. But no, but every single model I do is unique, and it makes and I make them special in their way. It's not like I'm selling Cinder to everyone. Please don't feel this way. No, I know your point. It's simply business. Normalizing their behavior once again by stating that it's simply business to sabotage other VTubers' careers and not work with them and focus on Cinder instead. Both mine and Red's use of it's just business or similar phrases were dishonestly misinterpreted and twisted to fit the idea that it was somehow justly sabotaging others. Like I explained before, the phrase was used to accept Nano's decision in 2023. Regardless of how our feelings on that decision, if you were to actually read the screenshots that we presented in Nano's document right below this, you'd understand that no way Red was using the phrase business is business to try and sabotage anyone. If you only took my message without the context of Red's conversation with Nano happening the day before, then it looks like I'm saying it's just business, but about Nano canceling models. That it's not what I meant. I spoke to Red about his conversation with Nano before hearing from her, and my use of it as just business was in reference to what he said. Presented out of order, out of context. And if you're someone other than Nano who had experience talking Red and I back to back in this situation, you'd see my messages to Nano and get the wrong idea. Nano's document purposely showed my message first without any context before it to manipulate the narrative. Okay, it's down. Okay. It's okay now. You're just making a living. Business. If you were to go through projects, okay, this has already been talked about. Like it was trying to make you not work with them all. Okay, yeah, this was already talked about. Damage control, making sure none of. Hold on. 51 out of 83. Okay, I will oh gosh, it's past 8. All right, I'm gonna read for just a little bit, and then that will make this stream 2 hours. So let me go through this next section, and then I will take a picture of it so I know where I was. Damage control. Making sure none of this reaches the other VTubers and is all kept hush-hush, while also providing proof that they know what they do is ill-intended and should not get out, as it would case cause issue for Cinder's career to be painted in this light. Note that the note that uncalled shot of VTuber One is even spoilered a hidden message in Discord so it wouldn't accidentally leaked. Making sure none of this reaches the other VTubers is all kept hush hush, while also providing proof that they know what they do is ill intended and should not get out, as it should cause issues for Cinder's career to be painted in a light. Excuse me. The example shown in this next screenshot is after Nano canceled Silverveil's model. Red did not ask her to or make her do it or target Silverveil in any way. Obviously, he wouldn't want Nano to tell Silver it was my fault, because it wasn't, or the fact that they were talking about her at all. The only other time Red asked Nano to keep things between them about other VTuber was when they made their exclusivity deal. Not only to keep what he said between them from the other VTubers, but to keep what he said and did against Bao from me too. Yep, I remember that. Yeah, but wouldn't this be the second time you're canceling on her? Plus, none of this can leave our chat. Again, this is all secret talk. La 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 la. Note that the uncalled shot at Silverveil is even spoiler hidden message on Discord so it wouldn't accidentally be leaked. Pointing out and claiming a message was hidden so it wouldn't actually be leaked was as the reason doesn't make any sense. Red fully trusted Nano to keep things private between them, not just this one censored message. Who else would that one message in Nano's DMs that was immediately buried be accidentally leaked? Hold on. Pointing out and claiming a message was hidden so it wouldn't accidentally be leaked as the reason doesn't make any sense. Red fully trusted Nano to keep things private between them, not just this one censored message. Who else would that one message in Nano's DMs that was immediately buried be accidentally leaked to if it wasn't spoiled? Nano leaked the exact message here, and hiding did nothing to stop it from getting leaked after all. I try to be transparent as much as possible. I think it's more fair for both sides that way. You canceled because of Cinder, did you? No, I told all of them it was health issues, which I do believe that's Silver. I would never blame anyone besides. We never want to make you feel this like we're making you or force you to work on or not work on something, especially if it's something you don't want to do. And our conversation the other day wasn't meant to convince you or of you only doing Cinder work. Again, sorry that it sounded to you like I was telling you to only do Cinder work. I'll message later. Screenshot from shown as 2 hours ahead. 450. Yeah, it was only a couple hours. It was like 12 or 1 something and last time I saw it, I think, but it's completely left out. Well, let's see if wants now model or not. Hope she finds someone else. The constant obsession with VTuber 1 and claiming that she's asking for it, causing the unspoken competition, which is coming from absolutely no other source than from Cinder herself. The constant obsession with Silverveil. There were a total of 3 major instances where Silver came up in Red's messages with Nano, 2 of which were in 2023 and the other in January 2025. And in the aftermath of those cases were the only times Nano and I talked about her. My experience with Silverveil is explained in her section of this document, claiming that she is asking for it by causing this unspoken competition, which is coming from absolutely none other than Cinder herself. No other source other than Red. These are Red's words. He did not say she was asking for it and sympathized with Silver's perspective. This exact screenshot is what's shown next in Nano's document. I did view Silver as competition, but not until 2024, which will be shown in her section. I think it's more like wanting her to recognize Cinder, even though it literally doesn't matter. I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one-up each other because Silver can't get along, but I also understand her point of view. Screenshot also shown with 1 hour ahead. I think it's more like wanting her to recognize Cinder, even though it literally doesn't matter. I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one up each because Silver can't get along, but I also understand her point of view. A new VTuber who people say looks and sounds and acts like you becomes just as successful as you in a year. If she did recognize Silver as an equal or a friend, then it would be like she's endorsing her copy or like she's seen as some people say replacement. They share a lot of the same audience too. Axel, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Screenshot from shows 1 hour ahead. 12. The 119. Okay. Like at the end of the day, it isn't about how much we compare to her. We just want to we just wanted to recognize Cinder, a big VTuber too. She got she got there on her own marriage, just like you did. Get along, just like you did. Get along, and the marketing potential and the money they can make if they teamed up. Just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from or try to outdo. Okay, yeah, I already read all this previously. And the last image Nano presents below is from May 2023, where Red is talking about Spite, not Silverbail, but it's never pointed out that this is about someone else from a different time. This is all that was shown about Spite, and Nano's document didn't include anything about Red asking Nano, agreeing she would work with Spite for some reason, even though it helped Nano's case. Then, like a month later, unfollowed on Twitter and started taking her ideas, Cinder's ideas, like the flames, and now she's basically rebranded to more of a fire superist. She uses the fire emoji all the time. She never did that before. It's funny because she used to call herself a hellhound, but stopped when Cinder grew past her and now uses Suberus or Suber Pup or whatever her lore says she is. I don't know. The unfollow was weird. Yeah, so it's like there was also unprovoked tweets from her like I didn't copy anyone else for my design. My design is all me. This is who I am. Like, huh? Who are you saying this to? LOL. Oh, LOL on random Cinder clips on YouTube. There was one dedicated fan for someone she knew, and she commented on the clip saying like you are going to clip only on Cinder clips. I'd like to highlight the irony expecting to be entitled, recognized for her own efforts and size when her own active efforts are tied to sabotaging this very same VTuber, also feeling entitled and insisting to be recognized by someone else is odd. Thanks for taking the time to read through everything. I hope everything makes sense and everyone who has been hurt, manipulated, or sabotaged by her will find closure. Axel, stop! Stop. I'm gonna have to get you a cone, aren't I? I'm gonna have to. Stop! I'm gonna have to give you another bath. Alright. Sorry about that. My dog is scratching and biting when he shouldn't be. I love you too, boy. You're such a precious baby. You're my baby. I like to highlight the irony of expecting to be entitled to recognize for her own efforts and size when her own merits and efforts are tied to sabotaging this very same VTuber. Me trying to gain Silver's recognition came far before there was any kind of effort to ever try doing anything against her. There was no sim, simula, I cannot read simulated and a huge majority of the context around my relationship with Silvervale over the years was never explained to the public, including by myself in my apology. Also feeling entitled and insisting to the recognizing by someone else is odd. I didn't feel entitled to be recognized by her. I felt pressured to. On one hand, I was being harassed for being similar to her, and on the other, I was constantly asked to do things with her if at the bare minimum we could get along on Twitter. If it would have stopped the hate and satisfied the fans wanting us to interact. Similar to how other couple popular VTubers that had beef in the past publicly ended the feud between them, but Silver couldn't allow herself to to do even that. I hope everything makes sense and everyone who has been hurt, manipulated, or sabotaged by her will find closure. I hope the events presented here makes even more sense than they did before. All right, once. All right. You know what? I've been doing this for over 2 hours now. I need to take a shower and I need to get ready for work tomorrow. I do a couple things, like take my dog for a final walk for the night. Anyway, I want to thank you all, and for whoever it has been watching this stream, I want to thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I want to thank you for whoever has been commented, and I hope from what I've been reading for the past several streams I've been doing, I hope this convinces you that Cinder is actually innocent and that there was so much manipulation done by Nano. And for anyone wondering, my next stream is going to most likely be Friday or this coming Saturday. I'm going to be out of town, and I'm going to be leaving for out of town Wednesday after work. I'm gonna come home, take a shower, then I'm gonna leave, and then I'm going to head out, and then I'll be back sometime, and then I'm gonna be back sometime. Oh no, wait a minute! I'm gonna be back sometime Thursday night. I'm not gonna be here Wednesday. I'm not gonna be able to stream. Sorry. I'm not gonna be streaming Wednesday, and I'm not gonna be streaming Wednesday. But I could possibly be streaming Thursday, but I'm not going to make any promises. But I am going to be streaming Friday and definitely Saturday. Friday is going to be a longer stream to try to finish this up. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight of me breaking down all this. And my future plans, I'll say it here again, and I will go ahead and post something online after I get done. My future plans is after I get done with the whole Google Doc, with the whole Cinders Google Doc. I do plan on doing gaming streams, and there's actually a couple other VTubers that I want to play some games with. I just need to buy I just need to buy a couple of the games. But yeah, like I said before, thank you for being here, and I will continue with this maybe Thursday, but definitely Friday. I will continue with this. I want to thank you so much for being here. This has been Ryder, and I will see you in the next one.